Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. My name is John Welch. We're going to talk about the Freeborn Neck Protocol. And we're going to do this for about 30 minutes with me giving you an overview on what's going on with the protocols, some changes that we're making to the protocols, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. I totally appreciate and love that you're here. I can't wait. I'm going to have such a great time. I'll start out by letting you know that we are completely revamping the course, the online course. So for any of you who already own the course, as of March 1st, maybe sooner, you're going to get FNP 2.0. So you're going to automatically be upgraded to the 2.0. And I'm filming a bunch of content today. So I'm totally euphoric right now. It's the craziest thing. I feel like I am just in a state of bliss. I can't even explain this. This is how I can explain it. I felt this feeling for the first time in 2018 when I serendipitously discovered how to activate my nuchal ligament that sticks out the back of my head. And Pavel, you don't have to speak. I know we were just DMing, but I saw you just testing the length of the back of your head there. This is about creating length at the back of the head. Okay, so the euphoria thing. When I first discovered this in 2018, the first thing I noticed when I got up from the floor, the day I sort of came up with what has now become known as the Northern Star, the first obvious thing I knew was that the numbness in my right arm was gone, because at the time I had severe neuropathy in my right arm. I had cold. It was cold. It was painful. I couldn't feel my arm, and it would come and go. But the neuropathy was gone that day. But the thing I just noticed right away, I was totally euphoric. I had this euphoria where a fog had lifted that I didn't know I had. Even though I had dozens of blackout concussions in high school playing football, this thing in the brain was unbelievable. And it lasted the whole day. And then the next morning when I woke up, I still felt, I would call it, it went from euphoria, it went down to blissfulness. And so I still woke up and I had this blissful feeling in my brain. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this blissfulness? And I'm not sure what I did yesterday, but I'm going to do it again. So I did the whole thing again that second day. And I again found this euphoric feeling. And a lot of our clients have experienced the euphoria when they've done the protocols, but not everybody notices it the first day. So I'm not here to say that this is a guaranteed euphoric thing that you're going to notice. About 5 months ago, we got a puppy. And my pattern of behavior with the protocols went out the window, because I was like, oh, I'm going to take the puppy for a walk. I'm going to take the puppy for a walk. And so all the time that I was, patterned to dedicate to the protocols got upheavaled in all the best ways, because I love the puppy. And actually all the puppy walks have helped me develop a lot of really cool knee exercises, because I'm walking with him and doing fourth toe progressions and big toe progressions, which are going to be going into part of the course. I'm not going to go deep into the fourth toe, big toe stuff, but I'll tell you what, the fourth toe, big toe stuff goes straight to the nuchal ligament. It's unbelievable. So today was the big filming day of revamping the course. I've got lots of content to film, and part of what we're creating for the course are a series of 9 15-minute videos where I am doing the work, all in, game on, eyebrow slick back, ears pinned back. I am doing everything to the nth degree. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to do voiceover coaching with it. So I'm going to be coaching myself through it on a voiceover. So that way, when you're in the course, all you have to do is go to one of these videos and press play. And you can just listen to my voice coaching you just like I'm coaching myself. Or you can look at the video too. If you're like, what the heck is he doing? What did he just, oh, okay, now there's the video. I get it. So now I can see that. Now I can go back to listening and go into Deep Space Nine. But yeah, I've done what I did 2 15-minute rounds of Northern Star. I had to redo the first one because the data or whatever, we ran out of data, so I had to, the first one got tossed. But I've done now 4 different videos and I'm literally flipping out in my mind. Okay, so where are we? I don't even know where I'm at right now. Okay, so this is the thing. This is the secret weapon and the missing link of the human species. It's called the ligamentum nuchae. Oh, I'm going to make Johanna, my amazing wife, the co-host, so she can do things. Hold on a second. It's in the more, right, Johanna? The 3 dots more. Or no, it's not. It's in. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it. You're making your co-host. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for your patience. Okay. This is the missing link and the secret weapon of the human species. It's called the ligamentum nuchae. That's one big change we've made. I'm no longer calling it nuca. I'm calling it nuchae because that's the way you're supposed to really pronounce it. But I stubbornly pronounced it wrong for 2.5 years. And this is devolving from the human species because we sit all the time and we have footwear that does not allow the foot to engage with the earth the way it's supposed to. So this thing goes away. This is massive, a humongous, ginormous ligament that touches the tip of every spinous process of the cervical spine. And then it goes all the way to the tailbone, but we call it from here down, we call it the ligamentum supraspinale. But in effect, this thing goes literally from the back of your skull all the way to your tailbone. And this is what allows us to run fast and not have our head bounce around like a bobblehead doll. Dogs have ligamentum nuchae, horses have ligamentum nuchae, fast 4-legged animals have ligamentum nuchae. If, you know, on the other hand, like a pig does not have a ligamentum nuchae. So that's why when you see a pig move, they can still move fairly fast, but they're not graceful like, you know, a leopard. So the way we get at this thing is we get grounded. And it's much like an infant who goes from being so tiny that you have to support their head when the first days of life, because they don't have it together. So the parent is literally holding the head of the infant, or they're lying the infant flat on their back. And now when the infant's flat on their back, they have their head touching the floor and they're gaga gooing. And then the next thing you know, a few weeks later, they pick up the baby and they're like, oh my gosh, look how big Johnny's getting. He's so strong. He can hold up his own head. And that's it. That's like sort of case closed. The moment the infant is able to support their own head, the parents are like, they're good there. So that little person is going to learn how to roll over and crawl and sit up. And they're going to learn how to stand, they're going to walk, they're going to climb, they're going to do all sorts of different sports, they're going to do, you name it. And they're going to never again think about why their neck stabilized the first days of life. And the reason is because this guy, amongst others, I mean, this isn't the only ligament of the neck, you know, to be fair, we've got the ligamentum flava is the orange. We've got the interspinous ligament. That was the word I was looking for. We've got the interspinous ligament. We have all sorts of other tiny little ligaments in the neck. And so what we have here is we have a case where it's not. So we have a bow, right, with a string and it's on, right? This is a bendy piece of wood, but this wood is now under tension, but this becomes a nice tool. The nuchal ligament, this outside edge of the nuchal ligament is called the rope or the cord. The part you can see sticking out of my neck, or a lot of my clients' necks now, that's the rope. It's called the cord. The inside part, I don't know, it's just super dense layered fascia. I consider this like the sail of a sailboat. The bow doesn't have the inside part, it's just air, but the string represents the cord. which now pulls the cervical spine into a nice little shape. And if we don't have the string strung, trying to hold on to all these things, all we have is a straight stick, which is cool. I mean, it's still a cool stick, but it's just a straight stick. It's not really a tool anymore unless we hang things from it. Maybe we hang it across and now we can hang stuff from it. But this is the tool. This is a stick. And how many people do you know who talk about having a military cervical spine or a reversal of their cervical curve? They are losing their curve. They're like, I need to get my curve back. That's like almost everybody. It's like epidemics, an epidemic of proportion of people who say that they don't have a curve in their neck. Well, it's because this guy is devolving. They don't have their bow strung. Does that make sense? So we need to get the bow strung. And what you might get if you go to certain practitioners, like the chiropractor I saw in 2005, he had me do something like this. Because he said, Jono, you need to have your cervical spine curve because you have a forward cervical curve. And so what he did, he didn't have, this isn't me. I don't know. I don't want you to think this is me. So like, but like this is, instead of being flat on a table like this lady, I was sitting in a chair, and the chair was angled about like this. If you could picture this, that's the chair. Okay. And then he had me bend my neck backwards off the back of the chair. And then he took a strap and he strapped a strap across my forehead, and he dangled 10 pounds from it. And then he put 15 pounds from it. And I was like, you know, I'm gung ho, man. I'm like, Doc, put more weight on it. If this is going to help, put more weight. So he's got like 30 pounds hanging. It was literally the back of my head was touching like the bra line of my thoracic spine. It was, and it was like nonstop no signals. Like the whole time was like, Welch, you're crazy. Stop this. This is dangerous. This doesn't feel right. And then my conscious mind was like, but the chiropractor told me I should be doing this. He said this will get my curve back and make all my pain go away. So I was just consciously overriding what my body was telling me was wrong. And I stuck to this. He did that. I worked with him 6 weeks straight, 3 times a week, 20 minutes of pulling my head off the back of my, back of my body. And then doing all sorts of wild adjustments on me. This guy was even karate chopping the back of my neck. He had me on a drop table, and he would put the karate chop point of his hand on my lower cervical curve. And then, do you guys know what a drop table is? You know what a drop table is? So like he's got like a pedal on the floor. And then, so what he would do is the table, when he would press the pedal, part of the table would drop. And it was really heavy, so it was like fast. So he had me positioned where he would drop, so part of my spine would drop on the table, and then he would have his hand on his karate chop point. So as he dropped the table and he stepped on the thing, he would take his other hand and slam down on the karate chop point to karate chop my neck. So he was basically like chopping my neck off like a guillotine. And he did this for 6 weeks straight, and he did all sorts of other crazy adjustments. And at the end of it, we did our x-rays, and I was like, meanwhile, I'm feeling horrible. My thoracic spine had no problems going into that experience with the chiropractor. And who knows, for all I know, I apologize. I shouldn't rip on chiropractors as much as I do, but this is just my story. And I learned a lot from this. But, you know, my thoracic spine was now really unstable, where before I went into the chiropractor, my thoracic spine didn't have any issues that I knew of anyway. And long story short, the x-rays showed that my curve didn't change at all, like not even a little. And I was like, okay, well, but the pain I now had after 6 weeks of chiropractic moved me about 5 years back in time in my estimate on my timeline of correcting myself. But fortunately, it was only 13 years later that I finally figured out how to fix my neck. Hero. And this is where patience is key. We need to be persistent and we need to be patient. And I'm saying that into my mirror. We've got 3 minutes left of my rambling lecture. This is easily the most incoherent lecture so far. I hope it's been somewhat informative. Let's do this. Let's open it up for Q&A early. I'm breaking all the rules. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna just open it up. You don't have to rush to the front of the line to ask questions, but if anybody has a question, feel free to unmute and go ahead and ask a question. I'm gonna hold my breath and not speak.
This is more so a comment on your chiropractic experience. That's just wild. I'm cracking up the whole time and you're just sitting there taking it. That's so crazy, John. Listen to your body, will ya?
This is the yeah, you're correct. And this is the allure of the lab coat. Even though chiropractors don't tend to wear lab coats, they are doctors. They are authorities. Hey, you know what? And I get it. Like a lot of people give me authority. A lot of people are like, hey man, okay, cool. Let's, I'm here to do your thing. Teach me, right? So there's a responsibility in there for being the assumed teacher in the relationship. But, this was the thing. This was like, hey, okay, you're the man. It was Dr. Ryan. Hey, Ryan, buddy. And I knew the guy for a couple of years at that point. He's a friend of mine. He still is a friend of mine, even though we're not connected. But, after that experience, we didn't really, have, a tight relationship anymore because it didn't help. But yeah, people will just do what they're told. And that's exactly what I did in that case. And I wasn't listening to my body. That's why you hear me now stressing this to my clients constantly, even with my stuff. If somebody I'm working with comes out with a tweak of some kind, they're like, oh yeah, I got tweaky, I did this. The first place I'm going is, what were the last things I taught them to do? Like, was it something I gave them that maybe rewired their signal for that thing to go a little haywire? Like, I'm going to point thumbs way before I point fingers, because this is how we learn. When the body gives us pain, it's the body telling us exactly what we need to know. The challenge is sometimes the body whispers really, really lightly. Like, hey, this is a thing. This is the thing over here. And we're like, is that a thing? But it's hard to tell sometimes. And then sometimes the whisper is like 2 days later. Hey, this is a thing from 2 days ago when you did that other thing. And so it becomes it's a search and rescue mission. We're like the Coast Guard. We're here to like find redundancies, find patterns of behavior, listen to what we're doing. When we're in an exercise today, how does it compare to yesterday when we did that exercise? How does it compare to 3 weeks ago when we did that exercise? If I'm doing, say, a lumbar rotation, which is one of the exercises in the course where I'm rotating my lumbar spine this way and then this way, how does it feel when I'm on the left side of that rotation versus how does it feel on the right side of that rotation? Because those comparables are everything. Once we know sort of the protocols of how to listen to what the body's asking us to do, we're going to now have self-teaching things, like people figure stuff out. Like this is what a lot of my 3 to 6 month long clients will come back to me and they'll be like, hey, I figured something out, right? And I'm like, cool, what'd you figure out? And then they'll show me how they came about figuring something out. And it's super amazing and unbelievable, but we're getting constant feedback loops from our bodies. Okay, that tangent, I was like 2 tangents for the price of 1 question. Thank you, Rose, for bringing up that, because yes, we need to take ownership in there. And I could tell you about 3 other stories of doctor experiences I've had in my life where I didn't listen to myself as much as I should have. And I think a lot of people have found themselves in that predicament. I've got a lot of clients who found me because of chiropractors, unfortunately. All right, questions? Anything you want to type a question or ask a question? Who here is already trying the Northern Star from what they've seen in the group? Okay. And Pavel, I know you just got in there today, right? So, you know, Miriam, can I pick on you? Have you tried the Northern Star? So what have you, how long have you been working that pattern, and what have you
Not consistently as I'd hope working it, but certainly the first couple of days. Well, I noticed first day I probably did it maybe a little too long for me as a beginner.
okay. How
And
long would that have been, do you think, if it
it wasn't a whole long time. I mean, you know, it was maybe 5 minutes. That felt like a really long time. And my body said the next day, "Hey, that was a long time. Maybe you can, you know, push it back a little bit."
oh,
So yeah, but I've been enjoying noticing more, just, you know, having an awareness. Your intention, your attention is going to bring other things up. So yeah, that's been helpful.
hey, well, thank you for work. So have you been playing with it for a few days or a few months, and you do it once in a while? Is that kind of where?
No, it's only been probably a couple weeks. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
a couple weeks. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Mhm.
Sweet. Now, do you have pain? Is that why you found the group?
No, and my colleague and friend um posted something about you, and I thought, oh, I'm going to check this out.
All right, cool. For curiosity's sake, more than anything.
Yeah.
That, that's awesome.
Well, she had a great experience with you, so I was like, what's it about?
Oh, really? Who was it?
Stephanie Kraft.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Stop it. Stephanie's amazing.
Yes, she is.
She's amazing. She's such a sweet person.
Hmm.
And yeah, you know, and I'm not gonna, like, you know, tell you Stephanie's, you know, life story or anything, but she's a good example of somebody who, like, these protocols are not just for people with neck issues. These
Hmm.
protocols are for any issue. Her issue was her low back when she came to see me. Because all roads lead to the neck, you know, and this
Right.
is where, you know, looking at our little charts back here, but this right here is the deep intrinsic kinetic chain. This is also known as the breathing apparatus. This is the breathing apparatus. This is the target of the Northern Star. Good dish. This is the target of the Northern Star. And the idea is that we need to incorporate in the other 4. You can see half of the purple guy. There we go. I'll let you see the whole purple guy. So we got the anterior, the posterior. All right, there's the deep intrinsic. We've got the lateral and the deep longitudinal. This guy's walking. Can you see how his stride is? This is the heel striking as you're walking, right? This is where your one foot is swinging past the grounded foot, right? The lateral. Here's the stride out, so you're pushing out and driving, so your posterior chain is sort of driving forward. And then this is the same sort of step, but this is more of the lifting of the foot, where the frontal. So all of these are in place sort of all together, but they crescendo, you know, like the deep longitudinal crescendos, and then it goes to the lateral, and then it goes posterior, anterior. And this is like a symphony that happens, you know, every stride we take. And this is where the 4th toe, big toe, becomes so crucial to fixing everything up the chain. And when we go all in on the fourth toe, big toe, and the nuchal ligament, and in my estimate, this is the 1A of everything else, is taking care of the back of the neck first, because that's where we're the most top heavy in a sense. You know, we've got this heavy thing called this head up on top of our neck, and if we don't have some good, you know, connectivity up in here, it makes everything else below get compromised. So, you know, I'm done picking on you, Miriam, and asking you questions. I'm not going to ask you, but you know, but the Northern Star is here, and then we need to get out into all of these other kinetic chains with bigger patterning. You know, we need the spinal rotations. We need the lateral flexions. We need to have, we need to be up on our hands and knees like an infant and be working off of these 5 points of contact. So this is really what is coming down to, is we've got 2 legs, 2 arms, and then the head, and the head is the 5th point of contact. And that is where we are going to have our understanding at all times. So every single exercise that you're ever doing, it should be, what are all 5 points of contact doing? And the points of contact are going to be representative of where am I in space or time. If my elbow is bent now in its open chain, all right, so that means it's not touching the floor, or it's not touching this computer. It's out in space. If my elbow is bent, this now becomes the 5th point of contact on this side, because it's the farthest reaching towards you right now. 5th point of contact, or one of the 5 points of contact. If my arm is straight, where did I go? No, just kidding. So if my arm is straight, the hand is the 5th point reaching point of contact. So I'm always representing. Now, let me teach you guys the core fist. This is one of the things that we are definitively adding to the course in 2.0. FNP 2.0 was not in 1.0. The core fist is like this. We want to bring the middle finger down as far as we are. Rose, did I teach you core fist at the thing? So, hey, that's coming up on a year ago. We've known each other almost a year. I love it. Okay, so we bring the middle finger as far down as we can. It's like, can I reach it farther? And then my ring finger and my pointer finger, my index finger, are going to go on top. Yeah, now we've got this hang loose thing going on. And now I can just let the thumb and the pinky relax. This is core fist. So now if you have core fist, now roll forward. Feel that really amazing stretch along the back of your wrist, down your forearm at the back, you know, up in there. That is good stuff. Now take and straighten your arms down at your sides and keep your core fist. And is it just me, or does that feel really, really good? Feels good. And if it doesn't feel good, make it feel good. Like, think about it a little bit. Maybe you rotate it a little bit, right? Maybe you change your rotation a bit. Maybe you rotate it inward. Notice as you rotate your shoulders a little bit, it changes the effect up into your whole body, heck, even up into your neck if you connect it all the way up there. Now, the other hand position is open hand. So now you can go full on open, 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 open. You can reach down and go open, open, open. When we go open hand, or core fist, right? And core fist doesn't need to be rolled forward. But that's when I really can accentuate the effect of it. This is still working on it too. I can keep a neutral grip and still get, this activates the fascia network through the upper body. This does too. Right, so we're constantly working back and forth between these positions while doing Freeborn Neck protocols. But if I'm out on a walk, I'm walking with a light core fist. Because that makes it way more productive than walking with no fascia network engaged through the upper body. Okay. And if you ever strike anybody or strike a bag, if you're punching or something, a tight core fist is the best way to punch. I would never punch anything like this ever again, because this doesn't have anywhere near the power and you can really hurt your fingers. This is the striking position. It's just that boxing gloves don't fit that, so you have to, come up with a different. These would. These are boxing. These are punching gloves. I can still do a core fist with these gloves. All right. Anybody have an inspired question that's come to them? Any thoughts? Anything that you'd have that you want to hear me talk about?
I'll just say I really appreciate the fourth toe, big toe things that you've been doing. I'd had some numbness and pain through that fourth toe on the right side, and so I'm finding that it's changing a lot just playing with those.
That is, you've been playing with that. Oops, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I ghost out somebody. I was looking for a photo real quick. Let me see if I can find a quick photo. So with the fourth toe, big toes. Let's see if I can see one that looks good. This is pretty decent. You see that okay? The lighting will let me. You see my light over there. What's that? Go to this side? All right, let me go to that side. There we go. So if you can see this, so, and my anatomy is okay, but I don't have every single bone in the body memorized. But this is the long edge of the foot. The fourth toe and the fifth toe, metatarsal. This comes all the way here, connects here to the cuboid, and then it comes all the way to the heel. So it's a hard edge. It's a hard edge line of the foot. The big toe and these two other toes, the first three guys, they connect up in here at the oh my gosh, the navicular bone here. So these are articulating toes. Okay, they're articulating, meaning they will, have this ability. Right, here's my foot. Right, so the fourth toe and the fifth toe are all the way to the heel. These three guys here, they land up in front of the ankle. They have this sort of like ability. This is why when we walk, we want to stride to the fourth, towards the fourth toe, and then right, have this this pronation, this through piece of the foot as we stride. And then as you start playing around with that walking stride, we need to see that we have a sort of a badass thing happening with our spine. Like when I stride to the right, and I'm on a Swiss ball, that's why I can kind of get a bounce out of my seated position here. But like if I land on my right foot and I am now coming into this, you can think of this lateral guy. I know he's kind of far away, but if you can see the green, it's all on this guy's left side. Pretty much all on the left side. That's because he's all here. So his head is over that foot. And then when stride the other foot. So if you just walk and you just think to yourself, head over foot, right foot, left 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 foot. You're going to look like you just, I don't know, won a prize. You're like, woo! Right? You're like, oh man, this is a good time. Right? Most people are walking around like, they don't have any frontal plane going on. They don't have any of this action happening where they're moving their body in accordance to true human undulation. They don't have, quote unquote, true balance. So that's where when I go fourth toe, and then as I get towards the ball of the foot, right? When I get towards the ball of the foot, I go big toe. I go into big toe. At that same time, this hand is going to swim through. Okay, this hand is going to swim through. All right, so this foot lands. So as I get this right foot, right? So you get this, 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 this. And right about there is where we're walking into the store and my daughter's like, would you stop walking like that? You look ridiculous. I can't be embarrassing me. Oh, well, I'm the only one that's walking like a human being in the whole store. Everybody else is a you know, non-integrated, I don't play video games, but what do they call them? They call them the non-something player. The oh, I'm gonna have to make a post on this later. Okay. But like, you know, there's the player, you guys play video games, but like there's all the little characters in the background that don't mean anything to the game. They're just sort of in the game. They're in the background. Something player, non-something player. And but that's, most people are walking. To watch them when you're out, watch people. They are like just walking. You know, they NPC, non-player character. They're non-player character, right? So like, but most people, and when you walk like this, you have to make this face. Right? They got like, they're like this. They're like, they don't have any. What we need to do, we need to like walk. Right? And this hand, when I'm walking, this hand is down. This hand. This elbow is down. And it's this exaggerated walking because the human being, and we've got about 7 minutes before Johanna gives me the cane, right? She pulls me off like this. So The human being has 7 primal patterns of movement. We squat, we lunge, we bend, we push things, we pull things, we rotate, and we have gait. So that's the walking and running stride. Those are the 7 things that human beings do. And when we started looking at somebody's overall programming on how they should be moving and doing things to improve themselves, because this is a game of life. We have to get to the finish line, whatever distant finish line it is for any one of us. We want to get there, and we want to have all of our abilities. We want to keep all of our abilities as long as we can. And so all of this work we're doing really has legacy wrapped in it. And that's the thing I encourage everybody to do, is to take whatever you're doing for your well-being, whether you're 20 years old, 50 years old like me, if you're older than me, like legacy is the thing. Like, how do we want to sort of frame our existence when we're the wise old man, wise old woman? But so what we do is we look at a person and how they move, and we determine what is their greatest opportunity within all 7 primal patterns of movement. There's some consistencies between people. Most people have things that are, like most people's butt muscles are woefully deconditioned and not working right. Like, this is human being 101 is poor butt musculature out of many, many people, because we sit all the time. And when we sit all the time, it's sort of like a butt massage all day long. So, but there's, hey, everybody's unique. Everybody's unique. The part that I found is that this is the thing back here. This is the navigation control center. People will say, like we had a very nice meeting on Tuesday night, and a wonderful set of people were in there, and one amazing person who has had the course. She was one of the very first people to get the course back, way back in the spring of 2021, and she'd only really done the Northern Star. Hey, I get it. The Northern Star is super sexy. You sit there like this and you don't move. You breathe and you do certain little things and you think things, and the Northern Star has been a home run shot for a whole bunch of people. The Northern Star has been a massive difference maker. It was actually a massive difference maker for that woman's daughter, and then that woman's, I think, her sister or something. There was like a family, but by the time this person got the course, she was the 3rd one. Like, she had 2 people in their ear. They're like, "You got to get John's course. You got to do that Northern Star. It changed our lives. You got to do it." And it turns out, that single exercise wasn't really jiving with her. She would notice that it felt okay, but not maybe the best. And then the next day, her migraine would come back into her left temple. And I said, well, hey, you know what? This is where we got to go farther. We've got 21 exercises, for example, in the course, and then there's a limitless number of other exercises that exist on Earth that somebody might need to be doing in order to get to why that migraine always comes right to her left temple. And I guarantee you, it's going to probably be something in one of these patterns. We have these coiling patterns, we get all these different movement positions that we can get into, and so we got to get into these things, right? So at any rate, I digress, I suppose. I guess my point to all that is that don't just rely on the Northern Star. We have to go more. We have to go deeper. We got to go farther. We got to get into more things. But hey, Miriam, thanks for doing the walk. And do you walk like a goofball? Are you out there walking like a goofball?
Yeah, everybody laughs. But my
Do
kids
it.
always thought I was odd, so that's okay. It didn't matter.
Perfect. But you know what? The weirder, the better.
Exactly, right?
The weirder, the better.
As long as
Um,
you do it with a smile on your face, everybody else smiles, right?
exactly. Exactly. Well, hey, you guys are great. Did anybody else get a question that sort of surfaced in their mind that they want me to tangent on for a few minutes? And if not, that's awesome too. Thank you for being out here. So you're going to end up getting this as a recording if you want to go back and watch it all over again. But we're going to send it to everybody else who was signed up for the meeting who didn't make it. And we will see you in the group. And we do have FNP 2.0 coming out in March, which is going to be FNP 1 was great. And it helped a lot of people, but we saw in there where we thought there were things that were missing. That example of FNP in the course, that 18-minute long video, if that was something that you've seen, that has a couple cues in there that if I go back and watch that video, I'm like, I don't even say that cue anymore. I have to get rid of that cue. So like, it's not like they're bad. Nothing's bad in there. It's just not. It's not that, right? So, but we're gonna get the whole course into creme de la creme for 2.0, and I will be changing that video in the course, or excuse me, in the group soon too. Johanna dropped the link in the comment section or in the chat. If you want to save any of the chat, you can click the buttons on there and save it too. But that link in there has a $20 or $50 discount off of the course. So the course is currently $147, down from $197. And hey, if anybody feels particularly compelled to lock arms with me on a one-on-one basis via Zoom, or if you're local, of course, but we're actually giving the course away for free for anybody who locks arms for 3-month or 6-month program. So, but hey, that's it. That's the whole pitch. I'm not going to do any big sales pitch here. Thanks for coming out, you guys. And we're doing another one of these Saturday and another one of these Tuesday. So if you feel like coming out more, what's that? Oh, yes. And if you already have the course, you're going to get the new courses automatic upgrade. Yes. And we're on a new platform. So we're dropping the Teachable platform and we're going to a different platform because it's supposed to be better. And Teachable keeps raising the prices for no good reason. So they're gone. All right, that's it. Thank you guys. You're amazing. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Keep hitting the floor. Keep doing the stuff. And we'll see you out there in the world.